French President Emmanuel Macron is reviving a drive to reform France's pensions and benefits. The latest proposals include a reduction of unemployment benefits for high earners and incentives to those who work beyond the current retirement age. The move comes months after the worst of the yellow vest protests, which erupted across France in response to rising fuel tax. Julian Satterthwaite reports.
France's president has rediscovered his zeal for reform. Emmanuel Macron's government setting out planned changes Wednesday. In a speech to lawmakers, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe said people will be given incentives to work beyond 62, the current retirement age. Unemployment benefits will be reduced for higher earners. Taxes will be cut too. The measures had been put off while France was rocked by mass protests against Macron's administration. Reuters correspondent Richard Locke was at the National Assembly in Paris on Wednesday. He says there are two reasons why Macron feels ready to revive his reform plans.
The first is the demise of the Yellow Vest protest movement. Last weekend, there were only some 10,000 who turned out on the streets nationwide, drastically down on a peak of around 300,000. The second reason is the European elections, that they're now out of the way. Macron did indeed come second to the far right, but it wasn't a bad result for Macron. With those European elections now out of the way, there's nothing really barring his route through to the final 3 years of his mandate.
The proposals are likely to be welcomed by international investors. They've been waiting to see if Macron would deliver on reform promises. The question is whether the measures will reignite protests.
The anger that first gave rise to the Yellow Vests is still there. For now it's subdued, but it still exists. Voters still have the same disgruntlements towards Macron, that his policies favour the wealthy, that he's not paying enough attention to workers.
French presidents have a history of backing down in the face of street protests. But Macron may not be so easily cowed. Often criticised as haughty or almost king-like, few think he is short on self-belief. As he presses ahead, France could be set for a stormy summer.
Julian Satterthwaite did that story for us.